Hello, all of you out there in virtual Mendelssohn Club land. This is a video that came from the annual meeting where folks were requesting additional resources for vocalizing and opportunities to sing during this very strange break. So I thought I would kick one off for you on vocalizing. So this video will be a starting point for what I hope will become a series or a library of sorts even of vocal techniques you can use to remain in good health and perhaps even improve your vocal health in terms of singing during this strange non-choral singing period of COVID-19. So please note that much of what we do in choral warm-ups is generalized, a one-size-fits-all kind of approach. Also note that I hate the term warm-ups. We vocalize, we don't warm up. I think the term warm-up diminishes the value and does not reflect the work we do in vocalizing at all. It's also important to remember that each vocalist in the ensemble has a different instrument with a different range and tessitura, and some vocal exercises work better for some people than for others. This is why most directors try to vary things so that hopefully everyone gets some benefit from the vocal exercises. Keep this in mind as you go through these exercises. If something does not work directly for you, that's okay. Again, hopefully there will be more videos to come and you will find exercises that work well for you. Most of the time, the vocal exercises I do have a very specific purpose to build the individual instruments and musicianship of each singer that will collectively and ultimately serve the overall chorus's sound and musical ability, such as unified released breaths, establishing and re-engaging resonance, balancing, blend, vibrato, dynamics, all those numbers as you remember, rhythmic agility, counting, negotiating leaps, and other items. In all we do as singers, our overall goal should be the same, what I call freely functioning vocal production. In this video, I will focus on breath management and resonance, most especially, and first, and then go through a typical set of exercises I do, and that many of you are familiar with from rehearsals. I will also explain why I do them in the order I do, and in what key I begin and end them in. Again, you can modify and change things up for what works best for you personally. At the end of the video, I will do the exercises again in order without explanation, so you can use them as a model if you wish. On a very basic level, I believe good, healthy, resonant singing is a byproduct of good technique. Good technique is built on a foundation of good, balanced, and released breath management. We should never just sing in practice, in rehearsal, or performance without the proper technique set up first. Just like a beginning pianist focuses on fingerings first to establish technique for the long term, we, as singers, need to focus on our breath and onset of the voice first, every time before we phonate. When things are set up right, everything that comes after it, the vowels, the resonance, the dynamics, etc., are functioning naturally, leading to better sound and health and longevity. This counts in rehearsals and in practice too, just as much as it does in performance. I'll probably say it again, but even when we're in rehearsal and when we're sight reading or our attention goes to counting or it goes to when we're coming in, we let go of good singing. All of those things about the good setup go away when we sight read. They should be there always. So let's start with a brief physical activity to engage the body and mind in singing. If I were up in rehearsal, we would be doing something more physical than this, but let's just go to some shoulders and roll your shoulders back and forward. Take your shoulders up to your ears and squeeze. How's your breathing? Are you breathing? Let it go. Let's do that again. And squeeze. Are you breathing? Let it go. Take your chin to your chest Leaving it there, take your right ear to your right shoulder, feel the stretch on the left side of your neck. Back to center, left ear to left shoulder, feel the stretch on the right side of your neck. Back to center, let's look up to the ceiling and a little bit back. And down forward. Some people, as they move around, like to have the mouth open a little bit. Can roll a little gently and find that balance. So speaking of balance, let's talk about posture. What is posture? It's not that sitting up straight that my mother used to tell me. Posture is balance. Posture and good posture equals balance. So whether you're standing or you're seated, for your instrument to work as efficiently as possible, you need balance. Even in practice, again, that's why it's so important that we find balance and have good posture in practice. Again, if the instrument is set up properly first, everything that comes afterward will be more efficient, even when we practice. Do not turn off good technique when you're sight reading. Now, let's start with some breath management. Our breath, in order to be effective, needs to be released if our phonation is going to be free and spin and be resonant. So what does this mean, released? Well, imagine you are swimming and you're about to go underwater. Let's hold your breath. What happens when most of us hold our breath? Well, we close our glottis. That's the part of the larynx consisting of the vocal cords and the opening between them. So again, let's hold our breath and notice that your glottis will most naturally close. Imagine you're diving under the water and I over-dramatized it a little bit, added that little glottal stroke. I know that as many of us prepare to sing, especially a long phrase, forgive the analogy, lock and load. Our breath is not released, it is not free, we are locked up, and it is hard to let our air spin out of this once we begin to exhale. So let's try something else. Let's inhale, but not hold our breath. Instead, let it just be still. Do not close the glottis. It should feel as if the larynx is open and you're still, the larynx is open and it should feel as if you're still inhaling. So let's try it. Here we go. Let it go. One more time, just allow the air to be still and in. And I had a better breath that time. So now try this. Imagine you are breathing through a straw. Inhale to basically your max inhalation. And then after a moment, breathe in again, and then let it go, like this. When you do the straw breath, many people actually tend to leave the glottis open naturally. So this time, try it with me. Take your straw. Here we go. Hopefully you notice that your glottis stayed open the whole time. Now, the next step is to focus on your diaphragm. You want to keep this area released. Perhaps you've heard me say, release on the inhalation. Let's inhale and lock our washboard abs a second. And notice you will probably close the glottis when you do this too. This may actually feel familiar to some of you when you are preparing to sing a long phrase. Here we go. Locking down on the gut. Do it again and inhale. This is very tight. Let it go. So this time as you inhale, let's breathe in through our straw, focusing on keeping the abs released and flexible. So we're going to do this in a process. First, breathe in on the straw. Let the air be still and open. Then focus on your abdomen and releasing it. Let's give it a try, making sure it's released. Here we go. And in. Let's do it again, but now focusing on releasing as you inhale. Here we go. Now, let's get rid of your eco-friendly imaginary straw because we don't actually use it when we sing. Let's use a neutral vowel to breathe in on instead. The U in the word up, or under, or cut. In IPA, this is the upside down V for those of you keeping score. And I also want to preface this with a warning. Do not think of the neutral vowel as the schwa. In the English language in America, especially, we drop out. Our voice drops on a h, a schwa. So we want a schwa with resonance, that sound. So repeat after me and say up, under, cut, mutt, zut. Now breathe in on that vowel. Now breathe in on that vowel and focus on releasing those six-pack abs of yours. Here we go. Try it again. Set up the vowel ahead of time. Breathe in on it and release as you inhale. Here we go. This takes practice. Ultimately, we want this to become cognitive. That is automatic. You can think about something else and you breathe in that way so that you don't have to think about the breath. But until then, it needs to be the focus all the time. It's just like what you do before you sing anything so that we train ourselves to make this the default inhalation for singing. This is number one in priority for us in our practice. You need to do it in practice, while sight reading, while counting, while doing anything else. Learn not to shut it off. It's really strange how we shut down good singing, especially when we go to sight reading, right? The second priority for today, and always, I think, also involves inhalation. And we've actually already done it. Simply breathe in on the vowel whenever possible. A released inhalation on the vowel is a properly set up inhalation for what comes next. So let's practice with a spacious vocal cavity. Say, E. Now, recognize the space it uses. Set it up, breathe in on that vowel, and release on the inhalation. Here we go. E. Ah. Oh. Ooh. If you have trouble doing this, or there's not time to set up for the vowel on a catch breath, start from that neutral but spacious A neutral setup is the next best thing to breathing in on the vowel, and for some of you may even work better for keeping the air free. So now let's start with some gentle phonation on a spacious and thoughtful hum. Play with a hum with just the lips closed. Also play around with a hum that has an N on the inside. Move it around. Hum and chew a bit. Next, there's a school of thought that says to vocalize down from the middle of the range first before going up. I generally follow this practice in my vocalizing. So let's find our A. This is another important skill, so do it every day. Breathe in on an oo and sing your A440. So mi fa re do. So singing on an oo, going down. Switch to E. Switch to A. Don't press. If it gets too low while you're on your own, you only need to go as far as you want to go, starting with the ooh, into the e, into the ah. The second category of vocal exercise I do is to start in the lower mix, or even your chest voice, depending on your tessitura, around D major, and working upwards with exercises moving within the range of a fifth. I go no higher than B flat or B major in order to keep things generally in everyone's range up to an F sharp on the fifth. But as always, do what works best for you. I also usually work on initiating and maintaining resonance in the sound with these exercises. We can use voiced consonants to engage resonance and re-engage resonance in our sound in the middle of a phrase. So just to clarify, we are looking to create sympathetic resonance in our vocal cavity and our sinus cavities that makes our sound spin. Many people refer to this as singing in the mask. So these voiced consonants include, you guessed it, v, z, v, like on these, j, like azure, even O, like lip and L. You actually also add a very brief M to the front of a B, 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 and an N in the front of a D, D, D. Other opportunities to find and gauge resonance with these consonants. So let's find our neutral vowel, that say ave, ave. Let's find our A again. Ooh, go down a fifth to D. Ooh. Here we go in D major, and we're going to sing. Ave, 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 ave. Ave, 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 going up. Ave, 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 ave. 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 Again, I'm using that neutral vowel to set things up. Now let's remove that neutral vowel. Just breathe in on its space and go back to D major. Oh, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Ave, 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 your turn. Ave, 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 ave. 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 Ave, 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 ave. You guessed it. You can replace those initial consonants with any of the other voiced consonants or shift them around as you go. Find the one that works best for you personally and start with that one. Then shift to the others and try to replicate the overall feeling of sympathetic resonance. Remember, that should always be there, that spin. Even when we're singing in a softer dynamic, it should feel the same as singing in the louder dynamics as well. The next exercise categories I typically do in a regular rehearsal are used for one of the following depending on the goals for the rehearsal. 1. Engage articulators. Doomaluma, 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 doomaluma. Or tip of the tongue, tip of the tongue, tip of the tongue, tip of the tongue. You know those. I also use them for rhythmic practice. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, T, 1, 2, T, 4, 1, 2, T, 4, 5, 1, 2, T, 4, 1, 2, T, 1, 2, 1. I also use them for pitch and brain engagements, such as do, do, re, mi, re, do, mi, fa, mi, re, do. You can also do it on numbers. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then when you feel comfortable, and this is for you, Kyle, take out a pitch, exchange it with another pitch, or replace it with some body percussion. Let's take mi and replace it with a snap. Do, do, re, do, re, do, re, fa, sol, fa, re, do. You get it. Finally is range extension. Singing upward in the range of an octave or ninth, most typically in these exercises. Many of you already know lots of exercises for this. I prefer to use exercises that begin on the 5th scale degree, sol. And also that they use vowels for the initial onset of the voice, so I can practice singing in the mask. A bit French. Ein ho, ein ho, ein ho, ein ho, so do, so mi do. Ein ho, ein ho, ein ho, ein ho. Ein ho, ein ho, ein ho, ein ho. I love to sing. I love to sing. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So again, to do this, let's find our A. Go down a major second. Call that sol, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That puts us in C major. In rehearsal, I'll generally go up to a B flat major or a B major for tenors and sopranos, telling altos and basses to drop out or go down the octave when out of range. You can also start lower, for instance, an A if that's low, or B flat major, but do what is most comfortable for you. Ein ho, ein ho, ein ho, ein ho. 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 In summary, there are lots of variations on many of these exercises, as well as other exercises that I hope other singers will suggest in the future. These are just some of my thoughts, and I have many others for another time perhaps. But the key takeaways from this video are that focusing on the proper setup is essential to efficient singing. Posture is balance. It is equal to balance. 2, focus on a released inhalation first, as well as breathing in on the vowel or neutral vowel. Do this every time, even between repetitions of singing in an exercise. 3, sing vowels a bit French to assist with the mask singing and sympathetic resonance. And 4, employ voiced consonants whenever possible to re-engage as the vehicle in which to re-engage and engage resonance. So now I will do the exercises again in sequence, like a regular warm-up for you to use as a model. Oh no, there's that evil word warm-up. Don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or concerns, and remember, there are multiple means to the correct end here. My way is not the only way, so find out what works best for you and focus on that. Thanks, everybody.